Keith Rubino is running for the Assembly. It is the 119th, right, Assembly District?
That's Brindisi's.
Oh, correct. What is what district are you running for again? What's Butler's district?
118.
118th. Keith Rubino, good morning.
Oh, good morning. Yeah, 118th is correct.
Okay, thanks for that. I get the free money question this morning. Keith, you're running as a Democrat, and this was a pretty big upset in New York congressional race. Congressman Joe Crowley losing the other day in the primary in New York City, and you figured it out. He lost to a 28-year-old. This has got to be giving you some eye-opening hope here right now. He lost.
Not even just hope, strategy. There's a lot. There's a lot taken from that win.
Okay, here's why I don't think it's going to help you, but go ahead. I want to know your strategy and what your thoughts are.
Right. Well, I think we're probably on the same page with some of the reasons why it's not going to help me, but people power is going to be the way that my campaign wins versus the people on the other side of the aisle running for the 118.
Okay.
There are a lot of opportunities for grassroots door knocking, which is something that was super important for Cortez's race versus Crowley. There was a strong disconnect from Crowley from his district. People didn't seem to feel that Crowley represented them anymore. And, after he missed 2 debates in a row, the New York Times wrote a scathing editorial saying, what are we, chopped liver?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And, that really hurt him. And then on top of that, though, she represented the district's diverse background far better than a 55-year-old white man. Now, identity politics is something that a lot of people like to complain about, but in this case, having someone like Alexandria Cortez representing that district is far greater of a benefit for that area than Joe Crowley. And what I did love about Crowley winning was that what I did love about Cortez winning was that Crowley was very respectable. He said, "I'm going to unite behind Cortez. We're going to continue on our route to whatever."
Yeah, I mean, he played a song. He
did on the guitar.
Yeah, he played a Bruce Springsteen song. So, how old are you, Keith?
I'm 29. So you're 20. There.
Okay. The only problem is, here's my issues here, is that you're also white, right? So you're a 29-year-old white man. I read one headline this morning that said one of the problems in many races around, and especially places like New York City, is the fact that if you're a white guy running, you're going to get a challenge, but you're a white guy. So is that going to help or hurt you there?
Well, since everybody that's running is a white guy, I don't think that we're going to really face that issue. What I noticed is that the young people running in this race, myself and Philip Page, really stood out when we had a debate at the Pine Tree Rifle Club. We had a debate in a very, very conservative crowd of people.
Yeah. And
a lot of people said that Philip and I came off as the strongest candidates in terms of speaking, because we didn't just talk about platitudes. We didn't just talk about, things that we thought were problems but with no solutions. We offered solutions.
What are some of these solutions that you offered?
So, when I talked about legalizing marijuana, I talked about how much revenue it could generate. I talked about how, when elected to the Assembly, funding for education is much greater a chance for someone that's elected as a Democrat because the majority of the Assembly is Democrat.
Yeah.
That's just politics. So, securing funding for education is going to be a lot easier.
Yeah.
If you're voting for a Republican, you're kind of unfortunately going to be voting against your own interest in terms of being able to secure funding. And working across the aisle is important too. And that's why, when Mr. Vincent was talking about how we have to vote Republican across the board or the Second Amendment's going to fall, I felt like that was kind of, not fair to the room of people, because we don't want to encourage people to vote just Democrat. We don't want to encourage people to vote just Republican. We want to encourage people to vote for the person.
Where do you stand on the Second Amendment? I know I've asked you this before, but people should hear it again.
Honestly, I would love to say it again. Honestly, I said that right at the start of the debate at the Pine Tree Rifle Club, too, because I didn't want people to phase out the minute I started speaking as the Democrat. I said,
sure.
I support people's rights to have guns. New York State already has some of the strictest laws known to man. The issues that we see are in other states with very loose gun laws. So, right now, the Second Amendment is something that I support. I think people, especially here in upstate New York and around rural areas of New York State, they have guns because they use it for protection. They use it for, you know, their area of residence, and they use it for sport. And you know, I think most of the people in this area are responsible gun owners. The other problem
that you face is the district currently held by Mark Butler is a pretty Republican conservative district. You are definitely outnumbered. Republicans outnumber Democrats with a pretty good sized margin.
You're not wrong. And you know, that's the thing that Cortez's race proved to me, is that if we can organize a ground game and out-organize the Republican side, I really think that we can do something great. I mean,
her district, her district was overwhelmingly Democrat. And and by the way, it was a primary anyway.
Right. So the goal still is to take those kind of examples and amplify them in a way that represents, you know, just the basics, bringing people out to vote. I mean, in Herkimer County, I don't know if you know this, but in 2012, when Joseph Choleli ran against Mark Butler, only like 800 people turned out to vote in Herkimer County, and in a residence that had about 4,000 people.
Yeah,
you know, it was kind of a disgusting turnout, and that's something that I want to change for my race. I want to inspire more people to come out, and that's going to be something that really is going to make the difference into who wins this open seat race. Is who's going to inspire people to come out and vote. And even with a 2-to-1 district, are we going to be able to get Republicans to take a chance on a Democrat and take a chance on somebody who's not just a yes man to the party, but someone who's really interested in representing the people, regardless of if he's got a Democrat D attached to his name.
All right there, Keith Rubino. Thank you for your explanation on your take on what happened down there in New York City. And, of course, we'll be following you as you run as a Democrat in the 118th. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Oh, thank you, and thanks for letting me have the opportunity. I'll talk to you later.
Keith Rubino.
So it was interesting. I didn't realize, as Keith pointed out, that this guy, the incumbent, was blowing off debates. Just, I'm not showing up. And
but you'll get that with an incumbent when his opponent is a 28-year-old female who doesn't have a chance.
Well, apparently she had more than a chance.
And this is the shocker that I think that, you know, the rules of engagement, I think, the rules of campaigns have been, in the last couple of years, well, certainly since Trump, have kind of been thrown out the window, right? You'd think he's an incumbent. He's been there. He's probably one of those. He was one being talked about as replacing, what's her name?
Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi. You'd think that this would be, he'd win by a landslide. So you are the incumbent. You wouldn't want to debate. Why do you want to give name recognition to this person who doesn't have any money? You know, they said she had like $100,000. That's all she ended up spending during the whole campaign. Meanwhile, he's got big dollars. But what I'm saying is the traditional thought would be you don't debate, you don't engage, and you don't give your opponent, who no one knows, name recognition. That's out the window now, right?
Yeah,
certainly is there. Big upset.